Hello. How are we this evening? Me too. So, yes, yesterday was my first off day after all the performances of the weekend, and I took it easy. I really relaxed a little bit and caught up with a lot of things, which is what I really needed to do. I spent half the day hanging out with some friends, catching up, talked to a few people that I needed to kind of get things back on track as far as projects go. And I actually spent a little bit of today doing that as well, which was good. It was very good. I actually spoke to one of the career counselors at CDIA, the Boston University that I went to. She had called and asked me the status of my employment and if I had been keeping up on any skill sets or taking on new ones. And it was actually a very good conversation. She had some ideas about networking with a lot of the other degree programs at the college, and or having some kind of alumni meet that would serve as networking for that particular field, which I thought was a great idea. I gave her some input, and I think she was really receptive and responsive to it, actually. So yeah, I think I'm going to meet with her in another week or so, just to maybe go over some details, because I think it could be very useful to have a lot of people that are willing to help out when you have projects, that have skills in certain areas. Certainly the more people around, it easier it makes to get a project done. That much is I've discovered, and it's very evident now to me. But so yeah, yesterday I watched the Oscars, which I had mentioned, and the two biggest winning shows this year were Hugo and The Artist, which The Artist is something that I wanted to watch. I just never had the chance to go catch it at the movies. I like it. I love the genre. I love that type of I own most of Fred Astaire movies and Gene Kelly movies, and that's kind of like what I see in the previews. That's what I got a feel of what they were trying to portray, and I absolutely love it. So eventually I'm going to catch it, and I'm very glad that they won. And Hugo, I don't know much about. It looks somewhat intriguing, and now that it's won a lot of awards, it's a little bit more intriguing. But what I had read online was that both of them were shot using ARRI cameras. So, not that it's swaying me in any one direction, but when I'm thinking about filming my short films and documentaries, and I need something that captures in a certain, not only codec but raster size, 4K or, it depends. I'm most likely thinking about shooting in 4K, and ARRI shooting the top two, films this year certainly is persuasive. But in addition to that, one of them, Hugo, was shot completely digital, and for it to win so many awards and be shot completely digital, I think it speaks volumes as to where Hollywood is when it comes to film stock and actual digital, video. Well, you know what I mean, digital video. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting factoid that I picked up yesterday. And I was watching a movie, as I tend to do, to try to analyze things and pick things up. And I was watching another Spielberg directed piece. It was actually the second Jurassic Park, the Lost World, and like the actors are weaker in it, and the stories, it's a little bit forced. And I still love the way Spielberg sets up scenes and his camera technique, and just the way he uses humor and sometimes asks a question and then answers it immediately after. It's really good filmmaking. It really is. There's a lot to learn in watching something that he's filmed. But one thing I think I discovered about him, though, is the only weakness he probably has is when he's filming car crashes. I was watching something when the dinosaurs were, prancing around L.A. He's got a couple of set-up car crashes, and they're terrible. One of them, there's a car that kind of, hops over two that are parked, but you can clearly see it going up a ramp. The two cars that it's going over don't even move until after the car is already up in the air over them. It was so blatant obvious that it looked terrible. And then he has a bus driver. The bus never speeds up. Apparently, it can never go faster than 35 miles an hour. The dinosaur is pounding on it, and it drives through a building, but yet somehow the guy's able to put on the brakes. Yeah, sure. You go through the window and boom, I'm stopped. Yeah, no, I'm going to put on the brakes now. Those kind of things. And I even gave him a free pass on one of them where this car was just backing up and it backed right into a car that was coming perpendicular. But it looked like he was driving into a sidewalk because the car kind of bounces back what it looks like off a little sidewalk. When you look at it from another angle, all of a sudden it looks like it might be a throughway. I don't know. I mean, I'll give him a pass on that one, but the other two car wrecks were terrible. Maybe he hired somebody else out to stage them, but he did supervise it, and he allowed that to show up. And I just think that maybe that is his one weakness. You know what I mean? Like everybody's got to have a weakness. His storytelling is certainly fantastic. His use of humor. There's a lot of respect I have for what he does with films. Obviously Hollywood does too. So my opinion is really not much, but anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. So anyway, on to the next thing for me. Very soon this week, I've done a lot of talk with my some of the plans that I may have mentioned. There's a couple of short films. There's a TV show, and there's a web series. Actually, two different web series that I've got plans for that I've started laying out some of the groundwork, and some of you, if you're actually watching, I'm going to be in touch with very soon because you're going to be part of some of the future plans that I have. So be aware. I'm going to be in touch with some of you very soon. Anyway, yeah, that kind of wraps it up. That's been my last my day and a half, and I got to go to work tonight. So I better get some sleep so I can make it through the night, and then start the whole normal life all over again, as you probably have yourselves. It's funny. I was actually thinking back to yesterday when I spent some time with friends and I was catching up, and I read a quote somewhere that I actually really liked, and I'm trying to think of it now. How did it go? It was kind of cool. I'm talking about like how it was something that we should appreciate, the people that are in our lives, and it was something about the greatest distance that you'll ever travel is the distance between two people. I think that's how it goes. I just thought it was really cool, and it's got that layer in it where you kind of think that, you know what, when people come into your lives or people are in your lives and they want to be there, it's fantastic. It's a great feeling. It just reminds you of why you wake up every day, and get out of bed and get going, because there's so many fascinating and interesting things to see and do, and it all involves other people, most of the time. And speaking of some of my other things to do and people that I enjoy hanging out with, I'm going to be going to this wine tasting thing at the end of March. And in April, apparently, there's something called dayglow, which I've never really heard of before. I saw some pictures online, and it looks kind of crazy. I mean, crazy. So, yeah, I'll be getting my tickets for that soon, and you'll get a full report on how that is. Unless some of you have already been to that kind of thing and know more about it than I do. But it looks crazy, and I'm looking forward to participating in the craziness. So until the next time, I hope each of you is having a more than boring week. That just sounds weird, doesn't it? More than boring week. I hope that you're having a fantastic week. How's that? And that you're making connections and keeping up connections. That's my message. See ya.